Yo, what's up guys, suetydub back here with another video finally. It's been a very long time, but today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to be a successful Phasmophobia player. Now, before we get into the guide, I have a few things to say first. So, number one, if you enjoyed the video or learn anything, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Number two, if you are interested in becoming a streamer, you can use my discount code to get a discount, of course, for Streamlabs Prime. Now, Streamlabs Prime comes with so many benefits. It's amazing. I would highly recommend it. Now, to use my promo code, you go to my website, suetydub.live. So it's just my name with .live at the end, and then you'll find the code on there. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So number one on the guide list is EMF and how to use it. So, before we get into the EMF, there's three things to grab and do. So, first, you want to grab three things. I highly recommend the video camera. It just looks like that. It'll be like right there-ish. The EMF, it'll be right there and it looks like that. And then the spirit box, it'll be right there and it looks like that. So you grab those things, and then there will be a key right here. You pick that up, and then you press this button right there. It'll open the trailer. So, EMF and how to use it. So you turn it on by right clicking, and then you talk to the ghost in the house, and you try to get it to just touch something or do something, or just get a response out of it. Can you do something? Can you show yourself? Can you give me a sign? And it'll eventually touch something or throw something. Now, what it looks like is it'll just, one of the lights on the EMF, I'll turn it off and then on. So blue, which is on right now, it means nothing is happening. The EMF meter is not picking anything up. Number two, green, means the ghost has touched something, like a door or a closet door. Level 3 means the ghost has thrown something. It is yellow. Number 4, orange, means the ghost is basically manifesting itself, and you should probably go and hide. Level 5 is red, and it means the ghost is picked up on the EMF, and you definitely want to hide, and that means there is EMF level 5 on the journal. So you can go ahead and cross that off if you get it. Now, if you don't, no worries, you can figure everything out as well. You can figure out what ghost it is. So, tip number 2 is the spirit box and how to use it. So to use the spirit box, you simply put turn push to talk on, and then you turn the spirit box on, and then you ask it questions. Now this, I can't exactly use this right now, but I'll give a little demonstration. Are you here? Are you near? Are you close? Are you friendly? So as you saw, it gives those little X's. I believe the ghost just touched the door actually. So I'm gonna look for that on EMF to give you guys a little demonstration. I think I'm too late. Oh well. So the spirit box will give you a little X if the ghost does not respond, and if it does, it'll... Okay, so there's EMF level 2. So it touched a door, and typically you'll want to have a camera or the UV light a little later in the game, and you just either take a picture of this door and then go to journal and photos, or you shine the EMF at the door. Now, since we know that this ghost is either in the laundry room or the garage, we'll use the spirit box. Are you here? Are you near? Are you close? Are you friendly? So that's what spirit box is like. So that means it's in the garage. So now, tip number 3, video camera. So you just take the video camera, you right click to put it on night vision mode. Now, it does not look like there is any ghost orbs, which you actually find using the video camera. It just looks like a little floating, almost like a snowflake, but just floating, kind of, in the ghost room. So I would just place this here. If it's in the garage, I would throw the EMF down, and then I would go back to the trailer and get something. So I'm gonna be getting the dots, I'm gonna get the book, and I'm getting the photo camera. So I'm gonna be going in depth, a little bit more in depth on how to use these, because they look simple, but they kind of are simple, but still. So you place that. I hate that car horn, it's really annoying. So you place them, both of these, down just in the ghost room, and then it'll if it's ghost writing, I just got an event. You guys probably heard that. It was like a breathing thing. If you hear that, you're fine. You're not in trouble. It's not hunting. Go chill. So dots. If it is dots, it's a piece of evidence. If it is dots, you'll see just like that. That was perfect. So if you see that, you'll go ahead and mark dots off. So it'll just look like a ghost running across the screen. If it's ghost writing, the ghost will write in the book, and it'll be fairly easy to see. Sometimes it's not. If you have your brightness up, like, I'll turn my brightness down to make it, and then you'll usually like shine a light at it, and it'll be easier to see. Next, tip number 7, the journal. Actually, I'm gonna go over the camera real quick. So there's the bone. So if you find the bone, you take a picture of it and you pick it up. It'll give you extra money, and on the photos page you can see bone, 3 stars. You can get pictures of almost anything. You can get pictures of ghost interactions, ghost events, or even ghost hunts, of the ghost hunting, and it gives you extra money when you do those. There's Orbs again. So that is all about the video camera. Now, tip number 8 is, tip number 7 is the journal. So, and how to use it. So ghost hunting, or ghost hunting, I will say. So the first page, the home tab, is just, it shows all of this. It shows everything that is in the journal. Cursed possessions, haunted mirror. It is a mirror, and if you use it, you pick it up, you right click, and it'll show you the ghost room. Now, Ouija board, you'll find it typically in the basement or laundry room of a building, a house, and you can ask it questions, typically something like, where are you? That's basically the only question I ask to find the ghost room, and it'll tell you where it is, letter by letter. Don't use it too much though, because if you do, it will hunt and it'll break the Ouija board permanently for the game. Voodoo Doll. These are, as it says in the journal, eerie, cute dolls, and you pick it up and you right click and it'll either spawn a ghost interaction, event, or hunt. Now, using the Voodoo Doll helps with getting ghostwriting. I would recommend using that for ghostwriting if you're impatient like me. Now, it can be very dangerous as it does bring your sanity way down, and when your sanity is low, the ghost hunts more. Summoning circle, it's a little red circle surrounded by candles. You light those candles with a lighter right there, and it'll spawn the ghost. Now, I would run as soon as you spawn the ghost, or take a picture of it and then run, and then monitor the ghost speed. Now, this is dangerous because once you summon the ghost, the ghost does hunt, and it can kill you. Let's see. Music box. You can activate the music box and the ghost will start humming to the tune of the music box. And this is helpful for finding the ghost room, although I would be careful because if you do get close to the ghost, it will hunt. And also there is a bug right now that basically it makes so if the ghost is in the basement, it doesn't sound like it's in the basement. Yeah, let's see. Tarot cards, which I believe we got this game. I'm not gonna use them, but I'll show you what I'll show you what they look like. So, okay, we did not. Wait, we did get this. We did get them. So they just look like that. You want to hide, and then you want to pull a card out. They're very dangerous and pretty much useless when you're playing alone. If you're playing with friends or with random people, I would 100% recommend using tarot cards. They can drain your sanity, they can make a ghost event happen, and ghost interaction, a ghost hunt. They can completely fill your sanity. They can kill you, and they can also resurrect someone who dies. Yeah, so they're very risky to use and like alone, and I do not recommend them alone. But next tip, finding the ghost room. So finding the ghost room is actually not as difficult as it seems. To find the ghost room, there's a lot of ways to do it, such as using the music box or the Ouija board, or the haunted mirror, but you don't always get those, so it's important to have a video camera or a spirit box or the EMF meter just to help you find the ghost room. So in this case, the ghost was in the garage. I brought the spirit box and I used it in the garage, and I got a response, so I know that this is the ghost room. So I put everything in here that I need in here, and I got dots, which is hugely beneficial to this round. Let's see. I would, as soon as you walk in the door, turn on push to talk and just tell the ghost to give you a sign or to do something or to show himself or something. And if that's not working, say his name. It makes them mad. Let's see. Tip number 10. Smudge sticks. Oh, wait. There's fingerprints. So we know what kind of ghost this is. It is a phantom. So that's what a fingerprint looks like. So, smudge sticks. Let's see. So to use a smudge stick, you grab a lighter and you grab a smudge stick. These are smudge sticks. Now, there's a couple purposes to using these smudge sticks. Number one, the one I typically use it for, is if you're in a hunt, you can use a smudge stick and it'll like distract the ghost, and the ghost just won't pay attention to you for like 5-ish seconds. It'll just keep walking somewhere else, giving you a moment to hide or to monitor its speed or do whatever. Now there is also another purpose to using the smudge sticks, and that is either for objectives. I did not get that objective this time, but it'll just be like, I don't know, there's a few objectives that can be, you'll see it when you get it. But there's some ghosts that actually are like majorly affected by smudge sticks and can't hunt or do anything for like 180 seconds ish. So that's pretty helpful to know. Tip number 11, the Parabolic Microphone, which I do not use a lot at all. I have never been good at using it. I understand it, but I don't have the patience for it. So this is the Parabolic Microphone. So you take it inside, and then you just kind of look around the house, and those numbers on the Parabolic Microphone will change as you get parabolic noises and just anything from the ghost, pretty much. And I'll go into that later. Tip number 12, Sanity and Sanity pills. So the number of your sanity changes how much the ghost hunts. Now, most ghosts do not hunt if you have less or over 60% sanity. There's a couple that do, so that really helps narrow them down. But the lower your sanity is, the more hunts there will be. So if you have like 60%, I would recommend taking some pills. So sanity pills just restore your sanity, and they're very helpful. Now, if you get 0 sanity, that is very bad. You need to take some pills. Let's see. Tip number 13, the Crucifix. Now, the Crucifix is actually one of the best items in the game, in my opinion. It is not used for gathering information or anything, unless the ghost is a demon. The demon greatly fears the Crucifix and likely will not hunt if you have a ghost Crucifix just in the room with a demon. So that's pretty much what the Crucifix does. It just prevents ghosts from hunting. They'll kind of like burn or eat the Crucifix little by little when they try to hunt, and it'll turn red. Tip number 14, the thermometer. So I'm not actually going to get the thermometer from the van. I'm just going to show you or tell you kind of what it looks like when you have freezing temps. Now, if it is freezing temps, you'll be able to see your own breath, or if you use the thermometer, you can choose to have it Celsius or Fahrenheit. I keep it on Celsius because it's easier for me. If it's a negative with Celsius, negative degrees, it's freezing temps, and you can mark it off in your journal. Let's see, Fahrenheit, it is 32 degrees and below. Yeah, it's pretty much that. So, to show you guys what it's like to take a picture of a door, there you go. Now, that is one way to get fingerprints marked down without a UV light, but it can be bad if it's an obake, because obakes have 6 fingers. Yeah. Tip number 15, fingerprints. We just went over that. I believe you guys saw the fingerprints a little bit ago, but it's just a green handprint. You can take pictures of it for extra money. Yeah. Tip number 16, how to use the journal more in depth. So, already went over this, but I'll go over it again a little bit more. So I went over the cursed possessions, so now we'll go over to the overview. So case number, that just tells you how many games you've done total. Now, name, that is the name of the ghost. You can say it and it will make the ghost mad, basically. You can use it for like getting information. Response to people who are alone or everyone is what it will say. Now, if the mode is professional or nightmare, it will just say, instead of people who are alone or everyone, it will say we're not sure. Keys we found, that doesn't really matter, but I mean, if you find a key, it'll show up there. Optional objectives, it just shows objectives you can do for extra money. Ideas, don't pay attention to that. That doesn't have anything useful in it. Photos, just shows you all of the photos you've taken in the game, in the match. Evidence, extremely important. So for evidence, marking down the evidence that you get helps you narrow down what type of ghost it is. So let's say you have nothing and then you get EMF 5. That'll cross off every single type of ghost that does not have EMF level 5. So if you double click on EMF 5, it'll show all of the ghosts that do not have EMF 5. So in this case, I got dots, I got spirit box, and fingerprints. So it's a phantom. Always mark what type of ghost it is when you have it for sure figured out, as if you do, or if you do not, it doesn't actually. That's an event. If you do not mark it down, it doesn't give you any money for figuring out what ghost it is. Ghosts. This just shows every type of ghost and a little bit about them. It's very helpful for figuring out the ghost. Pause menu just takes you back to the pause menu. It's pretty straightforward. Tip number 17, boards on the van. I'll go look at them right now and probably take some pills. This ghost is being very active right now, so. Okay. Yeah, those boards. So, total activity from the ghost. This can help you identify if you get EMF level 5. I believe if you get level 10 on the total activity board, it is EMF level 5. Sound sensors. So this is a sound sensor. If the ghost does anything near it, it'll appear up there, basically. This is a map. I'm gonna take some pills real quick. This is the map of the house, or the map. Basement, second floor, or top floor or whatever you want to call it. And then this just shows you the overview minus the keys and the ideas. Tip number 18, audio settings. So definitely turn push to talk on if you're gonna play Phasmophobia. If you don't, and the ghost hunts, and then you make any noise, the ghost will find you and it'll kill you. So definitely turn that on push to talk. Tip 19, ghost orbs and how to find them. So a ghost orb, it just looks like a little snowflake, but it'll float. Snowflakes fall down, ghost orbs float, and you'll see them through a video camera only. Tip number 20, salt. So how to use salt. If you have identified the ghost room, you can take some salt and then you can put it on the ground, and then you get footsteps. So where's the, I don't have a UV light, but you just take a picture of that, you get footsteps, and then you can place it in various places in the room. Tip number 21, identifying a spirit. So spirit can be temporarily stopped by burning smudge sticks near them. So if you burn a smudge stick near a spirit, there's 180 seconds that the spirit will not hunt or leave the room. So that is very useful to know. So that's pretty much the only way you can identify a spirit without evidence. Identifying a wraith, tip number 22. So you actually identify a wraith using salt. So you place salt on the ground near the ghost, and then it'll walk in it. You'll use the EMF light or glow stick. You'll throw it. You'll just kind of look at the ground near the salt. If there's no footsteps away from the salt, it's a wraith. The wraith have a toxic reaction to salt, and they do not step on the ground, so they cannot be tracked by footsteps. Tip number 23, identifying a phantom. So there's actually not many ways to correctly identify a phantom without evidence, but looking at a phantom will drop your sanity considerably faster, and taking a picture of it will make it temporarily unable to hunt. Let's see. Identifying a Banshee, tip number 25. So to identify a Banshee, you need the Parabolic Microphone, and then you'll hear like screaming with the Parabolic Microphone, and that'll be a Banshee. Tip number 26, identifying a Jinn. So for a Jinn, you turn the power on, and if the ghost is fast when it's far away from you, and then slower when it's closer to you, it's a Jinn. If you turn the power off, you can eliminate that ability, so it can't do that. Tip number 27, identifying a mare. So if you turn the power on and then you find the ghost room and you turn all the lights on in the house, if a ghost turns them off like pretty fast, especially in the ghost room, it's a mare. The ghost hates light. The mare hates light. Tip number 28, identifying a revenant. So if you come across a revenant, it'll be fast when it does know where you are. If it does not know where you are, it's pretty slow. It's like a footstep, I'd say, every second. It's pretty, it'll be easier to know like once you actually hear it. Tip number 29, identifying a shade. So shades are extremely quiet and shy when there's multiple people in the house or near them. So if you have a friend, I would recommend having them in the house with you to identify if it's a shade. Now, if your friend leaves the house and the ghost hunts, it's probably a shade. Tip number 30, identifying a demon. So demons are actually kind of the opposite. They hunt extremely often. They hunt tons. And they are also very afraid of the crucifix. Yeah, they'll be much less aggressive near a crucifix. And so yeah, that's how to identify a demon. So tip number 31, identifying a Yurei. So for Yurei, you have to keep an eye on your sanity. They can lower your sanity, I believe it's by 15% at a time, which is way more than other ghosts. And it is also faster when you have less sanity. So definitely watch your sanity if you suspect it is a Yurei. Tip number 32, identifying an Oni. So Onis typically throw a lot of things and move things when they're not hunting, and they are very active. So that is how you will identify an Oni without evidence. Identifying a yokai. Tip number 33. So if you talk a lot near a yokai, it'll probably hunt. When hunting, a yokai can only hear voices close to it. So if it's far away and you talk and it doesn't come any closer, it's probably yokai. Tip number 34, identifying a Hantu. So Hantu is actually one of my favorite ghosts. They move quite fast in lower temperatures, so you'll get freezing temps if it is a Hantu. Where is it? Hantus also move slower in warmer areas, so if it moves fast in its room and then leaves its room and immediately slows down, it's a Hantu. Tip number 35, identifying a Goryo. So a Goryo, you can only see dots. You can only see dots for a Goryo with a video camera. So if you place dots and then you can't see it, the ghost, if you can't see the ghost, and then you take your video camera and you can see the ghost through dots, it is a Goryo. Tip number 36, identifying a Myling. Mylings are extremely quiet. You typically can't, during a hunt, you typically can't even hear their footsteps until they're very close to you. Tip number 37, sorry. Identifying an Onryo. Onryos they hate fire. So if you light a camera or a candle, take a crucifix, throw it on the ground, and then put the candle right on top of the crucifix, and the candle goes out before the crucifix gets used, it's probably an Onryo. Tip number 38, identifying the twins. The twins is probably one of my least favorite ghosts. So the twins are in multiple rooms at the same time, and one is slightly slower than the average ghost, and one is slightly faster. So that is how you will identify the ghost. If it's in multiple rooms and one is faster, one is slower, it's the twins. Tip 39, identifying a Rygous. So Rygous is actually one of my favorite ghosts all time. So if it's a Rygous, you can just turn some lights on, throw your flashlight on the ground maybe, and if it moves faster when it's by stuff like electrical stuff, and then slows down when it's not by anything electrical, it's a Rygous. Tip number 40, identifying an obake. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but if it's an obake, it'll have 6 fingers in its fingerprints. So it's pretty easy to notice once you actually get an obake, but that's how you identify an obake. Identifying the mimic. So identifying the mimic is actually quite difficult because it has 4 pieces of evidence. It has ghost orbs. It doesn't actually have ghost orbs though. So if you get spirit box, fingerprints, and freezing temps, and dots, it's the mimic. The mimic mimics other ghosts. So if you get 4 pieces of evidence, spirit box, fingerprints, and freezing temps, and then ghost orbs as well, it's a mimic. Tip number 42, identifying a Moroid. So Moroids, they place curses on people and then only target them for the rest of the game pretty much. You can like take sanity pills and it'll remove the curse basically. So that's how you know if it is a Moroid. You can just loop it around the table or something with one of your friends on the other side of the table or something like that, and it'll only target you or your friend, one of you. Tip number 43, identifying a Diogen. Identifying a Diogen is pretty easy, and it's actually one of my favorite ghosts. It's pretty high up there on the list. Identifying a Diogen is actually quite simple. If it's fast when it's far away from you, like extremely fast, and it always knows where you are, and then it's like extremely slow when it's close to you, it's a Diogen. Tip number 44, identifying a Thay. So Thay is also one of my favorite ghosts. A Thay ghost, like, it goes fast when, like, near the start of the game, and then towards the end it'll get much slower. So they age very rapidly even in the afterlife. From what we've learned, they seem to deteriorate faster while within the presence of the living. So once you enter the place, a Thay will get quite aggressive and defensive, and they'll weaken over time. So if they're fast for a while and then slower, like closer to the end, it's a Thay. So thank you so much. That was all 44 tips for this video. If you want another video like this, please like the video and subscribe and leave a comment. Just tell me that you want another video like this and I'll do one. That was the in-depth Phasmophobia guide, teaching you how to be a successful Phasmophobia player. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment. If you want to join my Discord, it is on my website, suetydub.live. It's just my name and then .live. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.